Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Laughing Lamps Salty Coat Conversation Session number 26. Sit back and enjoy for this episode's a triple dose. It's going to be a long one, too. I noticed that you guys like to do these photographic 10-year challenges. Well, I have a not changed. So here's a 10-year challenge that you can use your ears for. Sit back, enjoy, turn the channel. I don't give a fuck.
Hiljaa nukkuu, yksinäinen, mun sanat kuulla sen. Kaikuu on eilinen, kaikki unhoittuu aamu vierellä. Ilmaitonaiset ovat sanakseen. Tunnen viimeinkin sen kosketuksen. Tuuli kuljettaa muistoihin meitä vie, soittaen sävelmään. On taakseni jäänyt kuljettu se tie, mitä pelkäsin. Murhet joeksi vuodatettu, teot anteeksi annettu, silti mikään ei palaa ennalleen.
And that's about good. Yes. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Laughing Lamps, a Salty Coat conversation session number 26. I will be your host, the Jin of the Lamp, your inner fear. And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another weekly episode. This time it is a thought, it is a bubble, it is chaos. At the end of the day, I guess that's all it can be, right? Relates to chaos. You're not fucking normal, dude. There's something wrong with you. I'm sure. I'm comically knowledgeable. Do you see the bubbles like a comic strip? Or you don't see the emotions like the comic strip? I don't know. I don't know what you see, what you don't see. I don't imagine the image that you just envisioned. Oh, let's play. I'm always playing. This is how I enjoy the life. I create my own form of happiness. Yes? Okay. My own form of happiness. Comical knowledge. Yeah, that was a kind of a relation, I suppose, if you will, like a comic strip when you're reading a comic. If you guys remember, if you guys ever read comics. Since I brought up DC and Marvel characters, the Joker relation, Batman creation, Robin, so on and so forth, Catwoman. And I'm a DC fan for the most part. I do enjoy Marvel. I think I wore an X-Men shirt with my favorite character of all time belonging to them. I have a toy. Gambit, my favorite X-Man. One of the X-Men, but he's an X-Man. A former. So, double agente? Oh, I don't know. Agente? I don't know. What language are you speaking? All right, I guess it depends on the language that you speak, huh? Well, tell me then, in your language, in your version, in your definition, what is the difference between frostbite and a fire burn? A frost burn, perhaps, even? Doesn't matter. However you'd like to relate that. I know, there's going to be 17,000 degrees for the definition, depending on which wordplay you decided to combine. Diggy, diggy, da, diggy, diggy, da. When the hell freezes over, when the pigs fly, when the acid rains. I see, you see, I know you noticed. I spelt the word rains differently, but I said it the similarly. The same almighty. Uh-huh. There. Which there? Rain in a rain. Which a rain. Funny how acid, when, don't change, but the meaning of the final word makes you think a bunch of different bubbles of possibilities and potentials. Well, what is the difference between that feeling of frostbite and a fire burn? Simple answer. You're overthinking. Nothing. Right. They feel the same. The damage they cause and they can and will not do, well, similarly, they have a degrees. Just like you and I, my fellow associates. But I'll one-up you because I have a bachelor. No, I'm not single. I don't have a master. I don't like slaves. But the doctor, please. Well, when pigs fly, I guess I'll decide to go back to school and push forward towards a master's. Or perhaps, if you didn't think about it, this is my potential thesis statement and a study experiment. And at that, with or without the consent. Actually, in actuality, through conversation, I have a permission, which gives a slip for a permission. You see now. I know cannot. I need a parental supervision. I got it. So technically, in a weird way, I have the permission and permission slip in order to do a thesis statement through the experimentation of these two lovelies. When pigs fly, I'll go back. I care less. When hell freezes over. Well, perhaps it has. Isn't that what Ragnarok was always supposed to be about? Technically speaking, the world freezes over again, a whole new ice age. Well, if some people consider this to be hell already, it does get quite cold out there. And I don't always mean the temperature. Absolutely not. Cold, you and I. What a cold stare. What a cold person. What a fucking conversation. Bring up nothing but cold feelings. It's hot out there. It's got hot feelings. Well, that turns into like sexual relation to a degree. I don't know. Heat seems to relate to activity, while the cold seems to relate to inactivity, hibernation toward type of thing. Sit down, relax, and keep your body. Yeah, snakes know how to do that too. They coil in their dens, sometimes solo, mostly solo, actually, because they don't exactly mingle with each other unless they're ready to procreate. And when acid rains, now that spelling, let's play with that. With the saying, the words. When acid rains, well, acid rain is the idea that too much toxins have been evaporated in a certain area, therefore creating a rainfall downpour of dangerous water. Yeah, burn your skin off type stuff. I mean, that's comical. That's comical. In reality, what it does is just rains down poisonous, toxic rain. I know, scientific versus religion versus your own belief versus somebody else and thousands and millions and infinite potential beliefs. I know. Well, when acid rains also means when acid takes control. And when it rains, I think it actually even controls you anyway. Gotta go inside, get the umbrella, cover your head, don't get wet. Why? Need to wash off some of them dirtiness. Let nature take care of that for you. You've toxified nature. Oh no. Those fumes being evaporated. Who knows? But toxic rain, acid rain still exists. And how many of you have experimented with that governmental LSD? Yeah, her daddy used to create that shit. She used to experiment with it, and God knows where everything led from that. I have explained that in another video. Yes. What's the difference between that feeling of frostbite and fire burn? They both technically burn as well when acid rains. Well, a burn at a different degree of definition. I know. Only then and only then are you using that word in your sentence in a different kind of a meaning, 1, 2, or 3. Just depends on how you word it, how you say it, how it's meant. Did you get it? I don't think you understand. You're lost in the translation. Oh, what the hell? That's a wordplay with me. Now imagine being related to me. And now imagine a living with me. It's quite a challenge, actually. Quite a challenge. Not for myself. I've heard either too. So it's a challenge to live with you and be with you 24 goddamn 7 because of the way you think, the way you speak, the way you attack back at me. Because to me, it's very easy. You flaw yourselves, and then the wordplay I react to, seems to poke, antagonize. I didn't know how you meant it, so I responded the way I understood the meaning of your phraseology. What an interesting way to not know still how to retreat, even because I didn't know your original meaning. You assumed, asshole, that I would understand you based off of what I've already told you and what you've seen. I've showed you. It shows. Of course it shows. Does anybody else really pay attention? I know every woman does because they'll notice who's on what and who does what and who acts certain ways and really wants what. Fucking whores, attention whores, all kinds of whores. Well, madam, I'm sure it's very easy to recognize a whore. Don't worry. Men are pretty good too, hence why they tend to drag you. I don't matter. They find a way to get you. They know you are one. Okay. Control that. But if you can see that and you try to put your best friend in their place, you're acting a little flirtatious, sweetheart, sweetie. You need to calm yourself down. You're not make yourself easy. What is she on that she wants to make herself easy? What thought process came through her mind that night through her parents' argument, a mom fight, a boyfriend ex, I don't know, that decided to make her go easy that day, that night, that foolish, that day, that night, that week? I don't know. No, anyway, I get to both sexes about this idea eventually. But at the moment, I will harp back on women. This week is about a little bit of a comical. It's comical. Knowledge. No ledge. There is no ledge too sharp or ending for, I don't know. Just wordplay with words that we wordplay with. Let's move on to the next post. Here's an interesting joke that I even put the answer for. Those of you who follow on my Facebook of The Laughing Lamp. What do you get when you add salt to water? Salt water? No. Singing fish, drunk on blessings, hyperactivated by a blood. A joke. You see, some of you took that a little too seriously. Why? We're not allowed to joke? That freedom of speech is limiting my will. Or it's 1 degree of a will limitation of freedom. And I'm going to harp a little on that because of the recent news on the Joe Rogan podcast. I don't follow too many, and I really don't follow him much either. But interesting, the attack. 2 musicians so far on the media have publicly displayed their disgust and dislike with his podcast, and please remove it from Spotify. And one retaliation I heard was, was it Nelson? Was actually removed. That wasn't Willie. I forgot who it was. Old man got removed instead. Remove him or remove me? And he got removed. And I forget who this week just recently also retaliated. I forgot, but I just saw it. I kind of just saw it. Those things don't stick in my head. They don't really mean anything, but it's an interesting thing. You're trying to limit a man's speech that he found a way to do on the internet since getting a public venue for the things he'd like to do would damn near be impossible, especially after you've heard how he talks, what he talks about, who his guests are, how he lets them talk, how he eggs them on, how he shuts them up. Interesting. Podcast 911, I was introduced to him through my brother. Told me it's an interesting character that he introduces. So I've already advertised what I need to advertise. You check it out and catch a glimpse of insanity. Chaos. What do you get when you add salt to water? Singing fish, drunk on blessings, hyperactivated by blood. Bunch of jokes thrown in there. Well, anyway, you are getting sodomized in the land of Sodom or Nod by holy monkey mama buys. Monkey mom, imam, rabbis, monkey mama buys, monkeys, monks. I just kind of combined it. Oh, and the holy part. That's why it throws in Christianity to a degree. It's mostly about Catholicism, but they are part of segregation of what unity? Right. Another interesting news of segregation and unity, I made fun of a person, not on video. I made fun of the idea of Tibetans being interesting, ancient Chineses. And just recently also they put out in the media that they're against their big country of China. Chinese, China. Hong Kong's been trying to retaliate, which is interesting. Isn't that the fucking capital or some shit? A lot of people are from Hong Kong. I've been to Hong Kong back in the Navy. Interesting what comes out in the news after a thought bubble bursts. Yeah. Bread is just a filler. I know. How did you add all that stuff? Well, see, salt, amphetamines. Okay. Water, a blood. Oh, okay. Fish. We forgot the bread. I know. And then hyperactivation. See, that goes back to the salt. It is interesting, these comments. I don't understand your acronyms. So again, I appreciate what you, but I kindly refuse. But what a rude motherfucker. No matter how you reject me, it's going to end up me finding a way to spin the story to turn you, the nicest bad customer, into the rudest one of the day. Until I actually have a rude one of the day, and then I can go home and combine. You know, I've dealt with 2 rudenesses today, to a degree, 2 rejections even today. One of them was a real motherfucking asshole. The other one, I guess because it was early in the day, or maybe it was the time, I don't know. Maybe it was the person. But they were nice. They kindly rejected what I had to offer today. So I thought I had a good start to my day, even though it started with a rejection. But then later on in the day, perhaps immediately or at the end of the day, somewhere after or before lunch, whatever it may be, that ruins the rest of your day. An inhalation talking to continue the sentence, knowing I was about to run out of breath. Randy Blythe from Lamb of God has been known to inhale growl, which is also known as pig screams. Yeah. Okay. I like to have fun. Why not? I think I've already embarrassed myself when it came to episode number 2, when I finally introduced. Did you like that? Me too. That's how I have fun. That is how I have fun. So bread is just a filler. That's an interesting. Okay, so I mean, I guess at the end of the day, what I'm trying to get to the point is just a joke, just to introduce as a post. You see, that was just a filler, a bread, a teaser for you to eat, so that you can go on to the next room and actually have a breakfast or something, you know, wherever that common room was. That's how it kind of worked in my church. We had our little line for the wine and bread with the spoon, and we only knelt. You see, we don't get on our knees. Another interesting segregative purpose the Catholic Church does. And I've been to a Catholic church with our former best of friends of my childhood, the Arabic friend, fat friend, if I mentioned him before, likes to get into fights. The bully being bullied, who can't bully. The bully who can bully but can't handle being bullied. The cliche commonality that they all teach you actually came into reality of existence to me. So I noticed the trend and pattern from one to another and another and another, and I put the pieces together to gain a confirmation of a knowledge. There's no ledge for me I could not conquer. Okay, all right. When you add salt to water, let's try to get back on track. I like to get lost too. And singing fish, drunk, the Catholicism and Christianity difference of how the communion went, the bread stuff, right, in the spoon. And then we'd go around and grab a piece of bread off of this golden plated candlestick kind of thing with a plate at the end of it instead. You grab another dry piece of bread, and then you go into the, I'll call it a common room. I don't know. It's a dance room. It's a ballroom. It's a get-together room with kitchen in the back and a bunch of other. That's what classrooms are for Sunday school that I got kicked out of and told my priest to go fuck himself because I could not remember the Lord's Prayer on purpose. Kind of like the Pledge of Allegiance. I mean, I knew the words. I put my hand on my heart. I did what I had to do. Put my hands in prayer. I just never repeated the words because if I said those as spells and I don't mean it, I may cast a something I didn't want. It's a stupid thing, I guess, right? To you, not to me. be careful. What you say is as careful as what you can wish for. Now, what I think for, be careful, beware. Interesting. I don't see that. I can see the thoughts all in my head. It's the actions and what I say and what I do that matter of how I truly feel. I get a feeling from a ooh kind of a thought as well. So imagine the feeling I would potentially get if I acted on it. I never got that feeling for words I needed to say. I only got them for the actions I was going to take. Very interesting how those feelings arise. The feeling came from the thought. The feeling comes from the action. Some say the action is a speaking. I have never had a speaking action feel the same as the thought I've had for it. However, speaking about it re-brought the same feeling, but the day I acted on it, that was the E. The end. That was the end. To you, it was backwards. I know. I don't really care for camera perfection and stuff like that. I don't. I do it based off of how I think I want to do it. It's a feeling that arises. I draw the letter how I see it. I draw my numbers the way I see it. I don't make it for you to be able to see it. You just need to know me at this point, and you don't need to think about it. Yet I make you think. No, I don't. I don't make you do shit. I can't make you do anything. Or can I? The mental power through a videotape, through verbal speaking, because I can't act on you, motherfucker. Let's move on to the next post. Well, that's my church and communion and the wine and the bread and the Sunday school and the go fuck yourself. Bread is just a filler. And then you go in and you have a bagel. Okay. That's a Jewish thing. Confucius say, there is nothing more precious than the sound of laughter from a child. Let's say that in nice English. Confucius says, there is nothing more precious than the sound of laughter from a child. Jean says, you are all somebody's child somewhere. Are you still laughing? Do they get to hear that chuckle that they probably miss? Who knows? Who is laughing now? What are you laughing at? And who has or had the last laugh? On you, with you. Ha! Ha! I threw that in. Well, turn on the lamp and see how come fools you can be. You expecting a real laugh out of me? No, I'll chuckle eventually. Those are real. Those are real. When I chuckle, when I get a giggle, real laughs. Whatever you can remember a laugh out of me, that chipmunky, chipmunky mama bye, monkey mama bye, chipmunky mama bye. Yeah, the chipmunky. Yeah, I had to fake a laugh in my public so I can get through a joke that I didn't want to laugh at, but because you started off with a smile and a ha 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 in the middle of your story and you tried to make it funny even though my face wasn't changing. However, I tried to match yours to motivate you to keep telling your story. Oh, yeah. And then you told your shit and I didn't get a good laugh out of it. No, I got another chuckle of a chipmunk. I ate my nut. Oh, get the fuck out of here. I ate your nutty ass, your stupidity, so I know what I say to you seems to be a certain way to you. And yet everything of my 28 years of conscious understanding has made you and your stories and your jokes and everything about what you like to talk with your friends that I overheard with a sense of mine, that provided a feeling to the sixth one of mine. That I didn't like it, that subject, and how you talk about it, and how you relate with it, and relate about it. And I don't like the jokes you came up after the creative idea that you and your friends put together. That unity grew into something I was even more ashamed of. And I never said anything to stop the original seed. Why? Because you can't control that. That's like high school and middle school stuff, when the kids start speaking about unfortunate things and weird ways and weird subjects. I don't know. At the time, you say, I guess I didn't have the balls to do it. I didn't have the confidence to do it. I did not. Whether I was a known kid in Clifton or an unknown kid to a degree in Garfield. No, I was known. I was seen. I knew I existed, and they never bothered me. I was never bullied in Garfield. I was only bullied for a limited time in Clifton, but that wasn't because of me being bullied directly, but because of a friend bully who couldn't handle being bullied, who tried to get me bullied on a stairway in school. There's nothing more precious than the sound of laughter from a child. While I can agree with that statement, it is absolutely beautiful. Why? It's the most innocent and honest, a tickle, a giggle you'll ever hear and see in your life. And then you meet this 6-year-old and you see the fakeness of how she laughs, and she's already knows and she's been molded in a certain direction due to crystals of the past. I have tried to chisel off as much as I could to plant a new seed on them, and only some of them have just started to weed, maybe grow something, maybe. But that's up to the child to be able to bond with the knowledge I've attempted to establish on the original crystal that was growing in a thought bubble of a certain direction. Hopefully I was able to pop what I could and establish a new molding to how that thought process can be used in a beneficial way, because it will always be there for you to reflect on at some point. Some of you will definitely be able to relate to the unfortunate memory of a certain things in your past. Multiple, maybe one. Who fucking knows? An initiation, an indoctrination. I should have played Dimmu Borgir. Of the blood hunger doctrines that have been hungry for your sodomy. That's a Greek joke they used to make fun of. The Greeks liked anal sex. And interestingly enough, who created the idea of sodomy? Well, a religion, not of people, not the people, not the termites, the religionites, legionites, the religionites, jinn, legion. Okay, you see how we can play with words, turn them into something, a metaphor used to kind of recognize how that symbology could potentially be. Let's bounce that off of each other, try to figure something out. Who is laughing now? Are you chipmunking now? Are you faking it now just to get by your day, to get by that customer, to get by your boss, to get by your whatever it is? Who's laughing now? Who? The whole world outside of you? You still jealous of that person that smiles down the street? You got to fight with them, get angry, get jealous for the envy that you have, that they somehow can be happy. They're not on the phone, but they sure as hell look like they're having a good fucking time. Who cares? Why do you care so much? Your life must be in shambles. Oh, you're looking at the world. Is that world looking back at you? How did you notice? Were you looking back when they caught you? I was. I love making eye contact. I grew up with the knowledge of eye contact being very important, so I used that in my public display of everybody. Instead of holding my head down in shame, I found a way to keep my head up and make an eye contact. As I realized the eye contact, for some reason, perhaps it's my face, perhaps it's that death stare that I have, a former boss told me that I supposedly have. That's because I have no shame in looking back at the eyes of shame itself. That's what I noticed. That's what I learned. That's the knowledge I gained. I noticed that it was my eye contact with them, and after they notice the contact lasts longer than 2 seconds maybe, they put their heads and eyes away. But they will look back. I'm still staring at you. I didn't even yet use my peripheral. And then when you looked back at me, I turned my head and saw you as just a peripheral, still staring at me until I regained the contact with you. Yeah, you see the things you learn when you actually follow instructions directly and to the T, if you will, to the T. Time out. To the T. How confused can you be, huh? You are all someone's child somewhere, so who is laughing now? And what? Here's the most honest and innocent tickle I can consider here. What are you laughing at? What? Which joke was it again? Was it a dirty joke, an unfortunate joke, a retarded mental sickness joke? What kind of joke did you get a giggle out of and then lie about later on that you don't do that kind of stuff? That's misbehavioral stuff. punishable words and actions. Let's just taboo this motherfucker in public. Start writing laws about this shit, because I just realized my own personal thoughts about it, especially after I've confirmed it when a public display does it. First, I thought about it, laughed about it, felt guilty about it, regretful about it. Then the public of 10 plus 30, 100, fucking whatever, started to do it. And I said, oh, let's do something. Let's fight back. Too late, too little, too late, as they say. I don't know. But very interesting how that works in your mind. Very, very interesting, don't you think? I know. We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll turn on the lamp and see how confused can you be. Who has or had the last laugh in your selfish personal life? Did you have it with somebody? Did somebody have it on you? You see how we can think about that one. Somebody has had plenty of last laughs on you that you still think about because they have made you into what you are today. Everything has made you into what you are today, but you seem to hold on to certain things, initiative, indoctrinative things. Let's start calling out some bullshit, because you want to talk about being honest with people. Be honest and save yourselves. There's a fucking infestation growing within our blood, Hannah. Or is it the other side? But you need to find it and eliminate it before I take a vacation of no return. We'll get there as well when I find out who, what, where, when, and why you are protecting the virus, the true fucking virus. Okay, y'all think it's Corona. Y'all think it's a COVID. Now let's have some fun with this one. Are you a tomboy or a drag queen? How many of y'all had to Google a specific fucking definition that you could finally agree with as your ideological understanding of what it is to you? I don't need that definition. Let's go with the basics. Tomboy is basically a woman who likes to fuck boys all day long if she could, but she liked to be one of the boys as well. I'll put my pants on and move that haystack, and I'll do exactly the things you can do. God damn it, I will move that motherfucking rock. One way or another, I am definitely going to use mental capability to find a way to move that motherfucking rock. I am no different than you. I just have to do differently than you. Same and not the same. Similar but not the same. I cannot lift it per se, but I can use a fucking plank and a piece of... Okay, get the fuck out of here. You understand? Who wears the pants in your fucking relationships? That's interesting, because lesbians and gays can both relate. Gays don't necessarily have the drag queen, one of them wearing a dress kind of thing. That's very interesting. Interesting when you consider the dress code that these people tend to choose. Well, whether it's a choice of life and a perception that they need to show at all times, what happens in the bedroom? I bet you none of them is wearing a dress. But that drag queen, I promise you, is wearing a dress. But what he's doing is fucking your wife out on that coffee date. That's a male... Wait a minute. What? Let's go back to ancient times. Ceremonial robes. Daily dress. Robes. Ain't nobody technically wore the pants in those relationships. So technically speaking, we were all a drag queens and a tomboys back at some day, because the woman definitely had her role, right? Did y'all watch 300 or what? I bet you his motherfucking wife will whoop any one of y'all men's asses today. You take HGH, you got steroids in you, I'll bet you that motherfucking bitch will whoop your ass. Whoop. Ninja, you know it. So let's go back to where they both wore robes, turned into now the potential when we, the Americans, had to go to war, the males. All the women started wearing the pants in the factories, right? Then we came back and eliminated that motherfucking process because these new amphetamine salty motherfuckers are coming back from the war. They're horny and they need something to do. Let's give them your job that you held on for. And while you're back home, you might as well play with yourself, because this motherfucker gonna be horny when he gets home. How did they know? Baby boom. Welcome back to the war. Are you a tomboy or a drag queen? Perhaps you are confused. An infinite possibility of definitions of personal understanding, plus the Google-ized or Wikipedia motherfucking online, plus, oh, there's a third equation. what my friends want to incorporate as a united belief based off of Google, Wikipedia, and Yahoo. Yahudi. Interesting. It's an Arabic word I learned in Syria to describe the Jews. And there's a search engine called Yahoo. The Yahud own that. Okay, interesting. Y'all just see Yahoo and the stupid commercials that you may have seen, especially back in the 90s and early 2000s when they were a fairly popular search engine, along with Ask Jeeves. Y'all remember that? And, well, I think those were the two main ones before Google really made it big name for themselves. Oh, MSN, I think they had before Bing came out, shit like that. But that was the first couple of search engines out there. Yahoo was the main one for me to use. Even I use that quite often. But anyway, needless. So perhaps you are confused. And in a world that's constantly transforming in multiple ways, not just the male-female bullshit, but the world, nature, it's transforming. Vehicles are transforming. Houses transforming. Interesting transformation. The latter is actually quite normal. The latter being drag queens and tomboys. Oh, however finger that was before, I care less, but they're there. They're there. That once they were a united thing because of dress. Don't tell me it's because of who dresses what and whether you. That motherfucking drag queen is about to go fuck your wife, your girlfriend, your female partner. Trust me. I had a Jamaican bisexual on the gay side, dominant friend. Interesting how that subject actually came up when he discussed the Jamaican upbringing culture, smoking fags is how they raise them. He was indoctrinated and initiated himself. Interesting. That motherfucker made it into the American military. It was actually a leadership type of role. Well, one of my best friends. The bisexual comment, how'd that come up? Well, he had boy sexual interactions that he wasn't afraid to share. And then he had his girlfriend that I met. And he's actually taken an interesting pornographic photo of her enacting an activity on him in the vehicle, in his vehicle. And I asked him, I said one day, I said, well, see how you can get your shit up for her? And then you tell me, obviously, your shit goes up for me, or me. Interesting. For boys. And I said, just curious, what is the difference for you? He says, for my girlfriend, it actually takes interesting thoughts and motivations to get it up arising. Well, I could just think about your face and I will be, So you see, I learned that. And I said, well, interesting. Are you sure you're gay or are you bisexual with a preference for males, sexually speaking? Because you can tolerate female mental bonding, you see. But when it comes to the physical activity, the turn on is here. Just an interesting relation that I had learned from him. And I went to, I believe, with him, I don't remember if it was Jacksonville, but we went to Club Metro. Don't know if it exists there. And I went as a favor to him because he didn't want to go alone. It's funny. He could have asked the gays that he knew on base, but I don't know. Anyway, he tried to take me. And I went along. I said, fuck it, I'll give it a shot. I'll be honest with you. That was like a 2-hour drive or so, 3 hours maybe. And we were there for 30 minutes before I have had enough. I got hit on like a motherfucker and I didn't know how to take it. I had to tell them as a retaliate. My boyfriend is in the restroom right now, actually, or my boyfriend's at the bar. I had to use him, but he was macking on whatever he could. So it was very interesting. However, when they finally met him, and he's like 6'3", black. So it was nice to intimidate them with what they thought I was taking in the bedroom or one or the other. It's interesting. Yeah, but I went through that experience. And one of the closer, I went through, we'll talk about that some other time, I suppose. Because he and I shared a moment to try to get an understanding for myself. And no, I wasn't high on anything or drunk on anything. I was openly thinking about, could I potentially be? Hell, I'm talking about it now. So I laid flat on my back on my bed and I let him rub me up and down everywhere. Touch me as you please and see if I'd get up. Now, I don't know if it was nervousness or the fear of potentially going up, but I tell you what, I definitely focused on something else on purpose. So we'll call that a nervousness. So potentially, I would have to agree. that we're all by. We just happen to chemically, I don't know, lean towards a direction of normality versus what I actually like. I don't know. Interesting. Personas that we put on, the acts and perceptions that we throw out there. It's going to be a little bit of a long session this week. Yeah, 20 minutes of fucking music introduction. That's fine. It's my show. You a tomboy or a drag queen who wears the pants in your relationship. Perhaps you are confused. In a world constantly transforming, the latter is actually quite normal. It's normal for a woman to do the same thing men can do. And it's normal for a man to eventually say that I can do what you do. Because it's interesting when you think about, like, for example, the office job. Men and women can do it. It doesn't take a gay man to do it because mostly women are seen behind the desk answering phones. And it's an example. But you see, it doesn't take a gay man to replace a normal woman because God knows what she is in the first place. It could take any man who can do that. So in essence, and we can clean the house and we can fold laundry, do laundry, change diapers. We can do everything that y'all can do. We just can't breastfeed the fucking thing. And formula ain't exactly the best option to go out there. Congratulations to a friend of mine who's mentioned that they are naturally doing what they can. 2 thumbs up from a Jinn of the lamp. Refrigeration. Just be careful. Daily milk is produced every day for a reason. Your immunities are established literally with every meal you eat and every second of the day. So every squeeze is a necessary that the child needs. Because you are fighting and you're giving the kid what's new for fighting and you have the immune system to do it. So the kid has it through you some way or another after the umbilical cord is cut. Pay attention. Actually, we're getting close to the last post. So actually, I might make decent time. Anything else is quite chaotic, don't you think? I know. There's 2 different ways already just to say I know. I know and move on. Or I actually have a knowledge on it. Interesting. I know. Do you? I think. I don't know. I know, but I think. No, I do know, but I think it's because too much thinking in your knowledge. But perhaps that's because you're bouncing off a new creative branch from that seed. Okay, who knows? Somebody chopped you off and established something scary, threat, who knows, whatever the fuck it might be, for you to see in a whole different direction and argue to those who are close to you the changes that you have done. All right, I'm getting to that in a minute because this is my final post here. So you're capturing a wounded animal and nurturing it is the scenario. It doesn't matter. Sometimes some of us just capture an animal just to keep it as a pet. But interesting, that's a thought process. They catch a horse to break it. I know. Very interesting. And horses get a lot of salt in their diet when they race illegally, do they not? Amphetamine motherfuckers. Comes from vets, even. Okay. Well, which freedoms do you allow it? Does it remain in a cage, nurtured, not nurtured, captured for pet, whatever? Is it a caged animal, like the snakes and rats that we have versus the cats and dogs we have? Okay. Do you give it the freedoms of your home at least? Protecting the door, exit, entrance from the animals escaping? Should you allow it to run free in your home? Perhaps the horse gets to run free in your ranch, but that's what the fences and posts are for. Oh, let's say this. If the horse really wanted to, you've seen how high some of them can jump. I guess also depends on what kind of horse you have, right? No, animals will hurt themselves if they're not happy. And they don't put a blade to their wrist. But they know that barbed wire is, whether I make it or not, I'm going through. They know that wooden plank, shock or no shock, I'm jumping and trying. I'm going to try. I'm going to try. Cats and dogs have done that too. End up getting hit by cars literally right in front of you. She had like 8, 9, 10 dogs. She grew up with plenty of dogs. One of them, interestingly enough, ran right out into the street. Now they have like in their old house, it's interesting, in their old house, the Wonder Farm, Alice in Wonder Farm. Make sense of those words yourself and you'll figure it out. About, let's say, a quarter mile or half a mile between the house and the driveway, the dog shot off away from them, ran out to the street, and and Dad, her father, was chasing after the dog. It was a bit too late. Made it out onto the street, bad timing. Boom, truck ran over it. It was one of the first animals. Oh no, that was a cat that got run over. Pardon me. Not a dog, a cat that ran over. And now I know cats are intelligent creatures because I live with 9 of them currently. We used to have 13. I'm not afraid of that number. Interesting. Certain buildings keep that number 13 out of super stupid Stitches reasons. Yeah, well, now I have 9 cats. Another symbology, a number 9. Ooh. Yeah. Probably get broken down to 6 or 8 or 7. Who knows? More interesting symbolical symbolical numbers. There you go. Which freedoms? The freedoms of its own life. See, our cats are in and out cats. They go run outside free, no fences, no nothing. And they're willingly choose to come back, whether it's for food. They could eat at the dumpsters like the rest of the stray cats that are out here. They could choose that. Those stray cats can choose to try to come inside this house. We make the choice as well to refuse, reject, accept cats. Now, these 9 are originally ours. They're 4 and 4 from one mother. 2 mothers, excuse me. One cat, see, that's 4 and 4, that's 8. Well, we lost one of the babies of the 4 litter, the original 4, and then the new 4 came from another mother that eventually came, and then the mother ended up going missing. The other mother ended up dying with us here as she was trying to give birth to another litter, didn't make it. She's buried in the backyard. But anyway, that's where we get our cats from. And then one of them was her original cat, so the 13 comes from there. Diesel, Bonky, Lucy. Let's see if I can name them all. Let's have fun with this. Diesel, Bonkers. Well, I'll call her Lucy, but I forgot her long actual name, but it's named after Lucifer. Go figure. Bonkers gave birth to Penny Dreadful, which we only call Dreadful. Pennywise, which we call Penny. Moon and Star. Star ended up missing. Then came Lucifer's litter, and that was Kimmy, Kimchi, or Kimbo. Either way, Kimmy, he seems to answer more, but we stick with Kimchi because he's a bit spicy. Actually, it's because his balls grew in late. We couldn't tell his sex for a little while, and his balls dropped later than his brother Salem, the black magical cat, Saley Poo. And their sisters, Whiskey and Nala, which I call Nana and Lala and Lana and Nala and Nali Lali Nana Poo Poo, my Tootsie Wootsie, my beauty pootie. Whose will is free? Yours, mine, the animals. Well, I don't know. Do we truly let our animals run free? Kind of hard to say when you stick them in a gated yard. Your animal, will it choose to come home? Why or why not? Our cats do. All 13 of them. Now only 9. Who are you protecting? What are you protecting? How are you protecting? Why? The infinite question. Are you protecting? When things happen to you and you just say, well, it happened. There's nothing I can do. I'm going to tell you right now, what you could have done and still can do is protect your direct bloodline from infection from that piece of shit. So whatever you think they have on you, think you can use on you, whatever they truly have shown you, boy, if a fireball did not come out of their eye sockets, hand, fingers, toes, dick, I don't give a fuck. You got nothing to be afraid of. To say what you need to say and root out this cocksucker, one of many, and that goes for us and other families out there that have been taken advantage of. Start rooting out those businesses that you know have screwed you. I will eventually drop every motherfucking name because there is, ladies and gentlemen, a finale. When? You'll see. Everything will come out. Don't worry. It's a promise that I make. And that's one, a promise that I will make. Here's a second promise that I will make. Hold me to them. The second promise. If you don't eliminate those pieces of shit lives, one way or another, a word of elimination, get them out of there, divorce them, kill them, I don't care. Then I will to myself. Don't worry. I have a faith. What you're protecting at the end of the day, it's all you. Selfish. You're protecting yourself and you say it's for you and all of you, and for these reasons, and for this job which relates to all of us, and this and this. What are you protecting? What are you protecting? Who, what, where, when, why? Why, motherfucker? Why are you protecting? Why do you allow? Why do you keep it going in the wrong direction instead of attempting? Oh, because you don't care. You're not strong enough. The power of one is a false light. Okay. It's all about what they allow. Well, be the broken or the breaker. Be the giver or the undertaker. Unlock and open the door. Be the healer or the faker. The keys are in your hands. Realize you are your own soul creator of your own master plan. A lyric from Dimmu Borgir's Abrahadabra album, song entitled Gateways. Has female clean vocals. Not really clean, she screams. Go check it out. Read the lyrics at the same time so you could understand the screaming. For those of you who can't catch it on first go, or don't want to anyway, then you don't have to. Read the fucking lyrics. That's all that matters. You see how one way or another something can be introduced to you because it's put out there in multiple fashions. I think that's good enough. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me this week on this session of the Laughing Lamps Salty Coat Conversation Session number 26 with me, your host, Jin of the Lamp, your Inner Fear. I'll catch y'all next week. Enjoy the posts, stay well, and stay safe.